Mm. So Reverend Sirs and Upasaka, Upasika and friends, okay, good evening. So this will be the before last talk, and tomorrow will be the last talk in this retreat. Okay? And there are several things we need to maybe address about. I guess firstly, so I would like to just to perhaps to talk about is maybe what we haven't finished yesterday. Okay, so I was saying that what is one of the way to maintain your samadhi, the way that in case even though you have established or at least you have consolidated and or maybe even at least you have some good taste, or what is the focus there, and whenever you go back and then certainly, and it's very hard to keep it maintained. And what are those things we have to be aware? Yesterday I was saying that one of the things that we need to be aware is that about we don't always get the pleasure, and learn not to be always get the pleasure from the five senses. What they refer to, you get the pleasures from eyes, from your nose, from your tongue, from your ears, and from your bodily contact or bodily sensation. So and that is how we have to be aware. Okay. And then the second is about how can you keep it also become alert and let your mind be away from the other problems. So so that you can have a good, more stable, focused, or the samadhi or the good state of mind that you can still carry on with you. And then the other one is that means the hatred. But actually the hatred should be relatively much easier for, especially if you practice this loving kindness meditation, compassional joys or equanimity meditation. But I don't mean that is much easier. It doesn't mean that it really, you can always solve the problem, right? Because you still can, we have to be sometimes really to be rigid, be alert more, and do not just really believe what you think that you believe something. So in other words, you have to be very alert of your mind, okay? And also because the hatred base also can actually conduce you. Sometimes you generate this kind of pride and the proud. Okay. The most one of the also example for the proud is, for example, like somebody when they do meditation, they feel my body is pain. Now I have this pain, and then normally in meditation that setting is very normal, and then maybe the teacher will say, okay, just let the pain stay. You don't have to worry about it. But then he would say, no, I still have the pain. So, and it looks like the teacher didn't hear that there's a pain there. But then the teacher say, yeah, but you could think the pain is a massager. This is how I usually think. Doing a massage, you do feel the pain. But still, the person might not be satisfied because I still have the pain, right? So it's in a very subtle way. It's actually you still kind of like thinking the teacher didn't understand what I said. Pain is here. But then why the teacher do not address the problem, do not address the issue of the pain? Did the teacher address the issue? I mean, of course, you could say from different angles, there are different ways of looking. From other people, you say, yeah, the teacher didn't, because I have the pain too, right? But the other who have seen through the problem of it is, and they know what's going on, they know actually the teacher did give you the answer. Ignore is the answer. Regard it as as a massager massage your body is the answer, but doesn't mean that you can do it. But at least give you the answer. And but the other would think, in a way, if you look at it, so they might have a different opinions. So, but that what trigger you that is because you're still have a kind of the holding certain idea, and that makes you basically it's also what I want to say is something to do with your in a deeper sense something to do with your hatred too, okay? And because imagine say that but I think that I need to put it this way. The same problem would be the same thing, not only pain, the same thing like when people say, I have this good thing in my body. So I feel like, say, I take one example, I feel like I am the best. This is my best in my life. And nobody better than I, for example, if there's a statement comes, and then maybe that statement is just literally nothing important. But before we were not sure about how that practitioner mean, but the teacher maybe say, okay, you don't think that, there might be have something more. That is not a good way to think. Basically, something pleasure feelings also you could be stick on the pleasure feelings, and then when the teacher try to correct you, and then you will say, no, that's what it is. That's how it is, So that is also imagine the moment when they think about that, when they speak about that, what kind of mind, what kind of feelings comes along? What kind of feelings? Maybe not very strong, due to the past habitual, reason. Not very strong, but what kind of feelings is there? I mean, the moment when you speak, actually, there's unpleasant feelings there. Yeah, there's an unpleasant feeling. No, I'm saying this means you can, somehow it is also a way to let you know, practice is very simple, but again, when you look at it again, it's not that simple. Because our mind is so difficult to control, okay? The moment you might have a very strong focus, but if you take it that as like the result and you think that you are the only one, you're the best or whatever, but you have to be very cautious about it, That's what I want to say is that always very cautious about whenever, especially when you're so confident about your opinions, when you're so confident about the whatever kind of opinions in your mind, I mean, leave the opinions be, the best is to always leave the opinions as the more middle, the better you are, okay? Leave it like, neutral. Not to disregard your opinion and also not trying to really uphold in your opinion, okay? I'm saying this is as a practice, and I'm not asking you to sell the product. If you want to sell the product, in Chinese, 卖人都挂狗肉, that you can do that. So, and like it means you are selling product means actually it's not very good, but you still try to promote because you want to earn money. So, but practicing Dhamma is not like that, okay? So you find the more the practice of Dhamma person, the more actually, when they face more challenge, the more they will tell you, I'm not too, so I'm not saying this, but I just want to try to explain something, okay? So, and it's never be like, unless there's some other reason too. Anyway, there's another question. Another question means, let's say they know the student quite well. So sometimes the student are very, very stubborn. And then they didn't know actually the moment when they were trying to be that way is create unwholesome thing because they get angry, they get resentment, they get furious, Maybe they think they practice quite well, but then why they didn't get a good answer from a teacher, for example, like that. And what happened? And then they're not happy. But then sometimes the teacher understands that part and maybe just really, give a very harsh word, So to shaken the person's confidence also and let them to look at it again, is that's the case. All right. And what is the other one is that about that we can keep the samadhi. So the third one is always try to let your mind, stay alert all the time, not let yourself too much indulge in sleepiness and drowsiness, So, I mean, this is actually, I think, is maybe one of the difficult things also for the modern, people now. So, And actually, normally in the meditation center, if you're really doing meditation like this kind of samadhi, traditionally you have to wake up at 3 o'clock, But you still have to go to bed about 8 o'clock, so you just save 1 hour. You have to go to bed at 8 o'clock, but maybe, after you're brushing your teeth, all this, you're going to bed at 9 o'clock. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yeah, so in other words, you almost have had 6 hours to sleep if you can go straight away. So not only because of that, they said to wake up at 3 o'clock is kind of a difficult idea. But of course, in the Buddha's time, because you wake up at 3 o'clock, and normally what we believe the Buddha wake up at 2 o'clock, okay? So, and then you wake up at 3 o'clock, and because in those days we don't have the light, so certainly you are willing to do so. Because when the light darkens, what you can do? So you might use a candle, you use the light, camphor, and you want to save that, the oil too. And it's not that nowadays so bright like this. So, well, anyway, you would try to go to bed early, unless you just. That's why say the sun set at 7, and then you maybe can stay 1 or 2 hours more because have a little light to do that, and then you will go to bed, or you do a meditation. Anyway, so basically also try to sometime not to sleep too much, All right, I don't have to say that much now, but generally you have to try to make your mind always to aware that your mind has to try to keep yourself less drowsiness, and then also less sleepiness. The next one is the agitation and regret. Okay, the agitation is referred to some people. Their mind is always like to think something. They don't have to think, but they like to thinking. Let's say because this my term we call it as a play smart. Play smart. It means something happen, then you think I'm very smart. So I try to think. Why it's like that? So it might be this person is this and this and this and this and this and this and that and that. So you just play smart. And then sometimes it's really maybe give you a really good reason you should do so. I mean, you think you can do so because that kind of play smart in the mind makes you feel you're smart really. And then, but that's fine. The thing it is always, as I say, Buddhism is always have to be really cautious something. When that's become, in our life even we know if it always plays smart, it's not necessarily always smart, true. And then they become, if you attach to it, and then you become overreacting it, and then happen is that you overthink too much, okay? And then you're thinking too much will cause you actually very hard to keep your samadhi also, right? In other words, that also might be, when you think too much, sometimes also cause you feel, some people when they think too much, let them to feel really alert, actually. Because you find that if they slow down the thinking process, they think is, make them really feel like very drowsy, okay? But actually, my understanding is that when your mind thinking too much, when the time you try to slow down and make you feel drowsy, it's because that's what the mind, what we call the Dhamma, the nature is about. The nature is that you had to actually let your mind have some rest. Okay. That's why, and that also involving one more thing with that is that praying too much means you're thinking about future, you're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about the past. For example, like if you get back home, you might be thinking, when you think, in normal, say about meditation, when you say, I want to do meditation, and then you start to think, is that this meditation do me very nice? So, and then I think if I keep on doing this meditation, and if I go back again, if it's September, in November we have meditation similar one, and then I come back here, it will make me become very powerful. So, and then you really enjoy this, occupy this kind of thought. But if you really know you're thinking, you just entertain yourself, fine. But the thing usually you carry away by that. And then you think, yeah, that's really good. So what you have to do is, so then you straight away to go to the room, let's say you find a place and do your meditation. But you find your mind is so hard to calm down. So hard to calm down. But there's another time you find it easier to calm down. Like, when I'm writing my paper, I just write my paper. When I'm drinking, I just enjoy my coffee. When I go in to see a computer, I just read in my computer. When I'm taking a shower, I just know I'm taking a shower. When I feel like, somebody call me, I just pick up the phone and talk to the person. And I feel that people talk to me, I tell them, I don't have time. Have you finished your point? Yes. Because you are not allowing the people make your mind get too confused. Some people, they like that. They call you, they don't know why they call you, okay? And I mean, it's fine if you tell me, I want you to just listen to me because I have nobody to talk to. At least that's a reason, right? And okay, fine, I have time, I can listen. Whatever you like to talk, whatever I feel. But some people don't. They don't tell you that reason, they just call you. And after, why call me? What is that? So, and then, anyway, so, and if you know this, and then after you talk, and then you go to sit, you think, I sit quite well. Why? Because you are not thinking of the past, you are not thinking of the future, you are doing what should be doing. Right there, right? Doing this, and I move on this, I move on that, I move on that, and you are not doing like this. When I'm having a conversation, I'm thinking about a shower. When I have a shower, I'm thinking about a conversation. And then when I'm writing my paper, I'm supposed to write my paper, I'm thinking my computer, what's the news there? When I read the news, I'm thinking about my writing paper, Those are the, So the mind actually become habit and wandering around, right? All right, after that, so that's, and also sometimes you might be thinking about the past. It's like, I'm not saying you cannot think about past, but it's always has to be learned to be positive. Otherwise, it could be, okay, I have this very nice time, but why now it's not very nice time? So that's why, especially when you think about the past, it makes you to feel regret, okay? That's the reason we call that agitation and regret. You just feel like unsatisfied there, In other words, it's very hard for you to stay in the presence. Okay, I'm just doing my meditation. Like I just talked to my friend. Or like I just, what else, let me see, will make you more down to earth. Not many, I guess. I think, I'm not sure, I have been thinking, for some people in general, what kind of situation you are not going to think anything else but just really the presence? I don't think so. Yeah. It might work maybe for you, but no. Huh? At works? Sports? Yeah, the sports sometimes, yeah. Yeah, if you play musical instrument, yeah, like that, yeah. It's mostly, when you do those things, you might be more focused on the presence because you're not allowed to have any other thoughts, yeah. So, anyway, always when you stay with the presence, what you're doing, you normally, unless you do it, I think my understanding is, even though it might, normally it gives you really a pleasant feelings, okay? All right, so that might be explained because at least you kind of like put away the agitation and regret. So you just stay there. And the last one, of course, is the doubt. And then the other one, I would say the ignorance. The doubt is one, certainly is a main factor. So usually what doubt is about, maybe you have a fantasy about, you can meditate well. But when you sit there, because your mind wandering, and you doubt, kind of like, can I do it, right? And then also you doubt that, is it true? But that's the reason why we come for retreat too, because when you retreat, you have at least 8 days here. Unfortunately, almost like, put you in a cage, and you have no way to run away. Otherwise, I'm sure, let me tell you, if you don't believe, you definitely run away. My leg is pain, my back is pain, my mind is like a monkey, right? And then, but then you might say, of course I cannot say your mind is like a monkey. and then they may attack me like a monkey. So, but now if after these 7 days, 8 days, at least you know there's somehow possibility there, right? Depends on people experienced. Now, but I like to say is that possibility gives you some faith actually, and also casts away some doubt. Looks like something is possible. But this kind of idea, I'm sure for the first week when you go back, I don't have problem. I'm sure you still have very belief in this, will help you to be improving better, for your mind, or maybe develop a good marriage for you, and maybe, helping you a lot of things. But after a week again, and it started to strip off, and then you start to think, no, actually my wonderful life is, hanging out, to go to party. Please also understand, I never be extreme, like I say. When I say this example, I never imply that you cannot go to party and all these things, okay? And I knew that there are some people are interesting, and when they go for meditation and they go back, people say, why don't you come to my place? No, I'm a meditator, I don't go. No. And then, you don't believe that? Huh? Yeah, anything can happen. But I mean, there's lots of interesting people around the world anyway. But I'm not saying that you can go. I'm not to say you can go, you don't go. Okay, please. I don't have any. If I have the judgment here again, is another question. I don't. I just say that, and then so let's say they go, and then because of friend associate basically, and then you start to feel, that this experience become like a tiny memory. Okay. I'm sure that one day you'll be back to practice, but I don't know how long. So I don't know how long. And then if you have these 7 days, 8 days experience, I'm sure that you will be back to practice, because you somehow knew that this is one of the best way, actually makes your life feel better, makes your life better. Anyway, so maybe if that's in case that happen, you have to believe that, So in other words, you have to establish 5 things, what we usually say. But the first thing that you need to do is that you have to believe that this meditation will help you. I mean, in general, what we think is we help you to attain jhana and attain samadhi. Okay, I mean that's how the Buddhists understanding. But of course, some other people think, what is that, the samadhi? Then you don't think it that way. You think, this meditation will help you to live much happy, help you to understand a lot of things. And then the last thing I want to say is about the avijja, basically mean the doubt. No, the ignorance. Ignorance is, Buddhism is a big deal, okay? Because usually the ignorance referred to in tradition that you do not believe in there's a past, and they believe there's a present, and believe there's a future. And then and also ignorance because you do not believe there's a respect, okay? Say what we call, actually mean believing there's a father and there's a mother. What does it mean? I mean, it actually means respect. Because for biological reason, you could say there's no father-mother, because father-mother is a concept. It's just biologically I've been born by them, All right, anyway. So, anyway, I'm not saying much now, but generally means you do not believe in it. There's a cause also, and there's an effect. So that's ignorance. Because if they believe in the cause and effect, they definitely, I think, they will bow. If they really understand what is meant by the cause and effect, 因果 in Chinese, okay? So that would be bow, for someone bow, it will bow, for the person will bow to practice. Okay, because afterward, if they really understand what is cause and effect, they will know what you think makes who you are. Okay? How you react also make who you are. Right? And that it's kind of the circles going on. The good thing will have the same, a good circle. If it is a bad thing, we have the bad circle. Okay? I give you one of the example with the practice we're doing. We were just saying that when we practice this meditation, yesterday we were doing the joyous meditation, right? What it is joyous meditation? Whenever people are happy, you just feel the joy for them. But that doesn't mean that you do not, you might be thinking that's good or bad, but at least you feel the joy with them, right? Right? Do you think it's very easy? No. Everything is not that easy. Of course, now you're here. Even now you're here, you think it's easy. But let's say, in this monastery, we do have this. Let me think what cases happen. Okay, we do have this. Let's say in here, I don't want to say that because people think I'm picking somebody. That's a problem. Very difficult. I need to be very careful. Okay, let's say there's an extra. Oh yes, actually they did have this thing. Like last time, once we meditate here, and there are a few people came in, right? They came in, and then they were very quiet, but still, this is our floor that's making a little noise. And imagine that we have practiced a joy meditation. So say that if we observe these people, actually they come in, they feel very calm because everybody's sitting here. They feel very calm. And it also is a tradition. It's good for us too. Good for the monastery. And then it's a tradition when they come in and then they observe, they feel calm because they want to come to monastery, driving here far distance. They want to, kind of like a worship the Avalokitesvara or at least come to the hall to do a little prayer. But then anyway, they come in and they saw us meditate and they would just sit there for a little while. And then they stand up, they still make noise, nyek, 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 and then they approaching this over there and approaching there. And it's very nice for monastery because they put the money, They come in and then they keep the money and like that. No. Actually, I feel joy because even that I'm sure, for others maybe it sounds like a disturb already. But actually their mind is very peaceful and they feel the peace immediately, right? And but then and then they were about to walk out, And of course, and then somebody with the other understanding, might be consider the other and will just give them suggestion, like that. But I want to say that if the suggestion, we don't know, maybe the suggestion say, you are not supposed to come in, for example, right? How that person feel. And actually, and also maybe the suggestion is like, who are you? Are you the meditator here? For example, we need to know. And then, okay, so let's say there's a kind of suggestion like, who are you? Are you a meditator here? We're very sure that is, if with this kind of, even though it's not sure, but I say, mostly when you say this way, it means you are not happy, right? If you feel the joy, and these people are not having a fire going to burn here, right? So, and if they try their best to be quiet, they are here already, And then if there are joys, and just feel the joys. So in other words, there are lots of things, very hard, it's tiny things, not only, it's very tiny. When the more practice you'll find, sometimes we can be so opinionated, Why? I'm saying that, I don't mean that you can 100% do it, but I just want to give the example. You could just feel the joy, That also actually teaches us one thing, at least to me. That teach me one thing, that you see, if these people, if they come in with an angry mind, certainly we are more likely to say, go out. Right? If they have a very nice might feel like very calm. Yeah, we might not allow to come in, but we will say, when you see that they are like that, we will say, you just be quiet, it's okay, okay. You like to say, just quickly, right? So actually that action, when these people come in, let me realize one thing. You see, a person, if you always have a pleasant mind, you are bound to have more advantage than a disadvantage. Right? Do you agree? So, right. But there's only time you might have a pleasant mind, might have disadvantage. Like what? When you're facing to your mom and your dad. You know what I mean? Now let me say what. Because sometimes, this is how the kid learns already. In front of the mom and dad, if they feel pleasant, sometimes the mom say, come on, help me to do this. I need to clean this place. That's actually always a conditioning. And then if you face very angry face, okay, I don't want to just mess around with them. Get the kid now, let him there. And then, and also sometimes the kid had to, when he was smaller even, they had to pretend they're crying so they get attention. Okay, this is why I want to say this this is why I said sometimes the people, they always show the face. I told them immature people, because they thought they are just like the kid now. You know what I'm saying? This is my version of thinking. And then or sometimes they would show their anger or what, I would think this is just like a kid. It's because they from the kid, of course the kid have to learn this. Because sometimes they have to learn how to defend themselves because they have no power over the parents. They have to learn something that they want to do something they like to do. And sometimes they have to pretend they are miserable, or sometimes they have to really show they're angry. Especially the teenager when they have the power to do so. Anyway, but when you're a mature person, even the teenager, that's a thing I want to say is that when a mature, I don't mean the age. When you're a mature person, they know it's not. You still always actually can be with a good temperament to negotiate the thing. Because normally teenagers do not know how to negotiate. They were just always, using that kind of expression to show, I can do my stuff. I don't need you. And don't ask me to do anything. I want to be myself like that. Okay, so that is the cause and effect. Because when your mind is always no good, you always have the good result. I don't mean the good result always the way that you expect. You always know you are just nice. Your mind is nice. If I think the loving kindness to people, I always feel nice. If I don't think it that way, I just feel hatred to people, I don't like it, but you see the result is there. You plant the cause, you get angry, that's fine, but the problem is that carry and carry and carry. You get more upset and more upset and more upset. No? These few days you don't feel that? Nothing makes you upset? Really? Nothing makes you upset?
I think bedtime just leaves it down.
Huh?
Only before retreat.
I think this should be a little thing makes you upset.
I've been running out of hostile people. I think about a hostile person and I just don't feel like I hate them anymore.
No, I mean that when you're staying here and then there's some of the thing. For example, maybe the raining makes some people feel a little unhappy. No? And that's like this. But if you're really angry with the raining, you meditate, you feel miserable. So you kind of like knew that already. I should not let my mind to think about the rain now. I don't know. I'm not sure what else, but anyway, I'm saying. I know that, anyway, especially these, some people, loving kindness among them, loving kindness is the most easier to practice because I usually describe this almost like you're going to learn swimming and then you go to the water, you just learn how to float, how to dive, kind of like inside the water, and pray around the waters like a loving kindness. So you kind of know that you're not going to drown too much. You might be drowned, but not go too deep, Like your meditation is not too strong. But anyway, you can pray around the water, you enjoy the time in the water, and then you can swim in a little bit here and there, even though you don't know any style of swimming. But then you may be able to learn the freestyle, like a compassion meditation. So, and then you might be able later, like you'll learn this, what you call butterfly style. I think the butterfly, let's say the breaststroke style, like the, like a Joyce meditation, and butterfly style, like the equanimity meditation. For example, generally mean that you must have the letter mind, understand the water nature. It's almost like you can be able to practice and put away your hatred first. Put away your hatreds. It helps your life immensely. But the joyous, some people ask me this question actually in the past, that joyous is very easy to practice, looks like when you're doing a meditation. For some people, not for all, but for some people, or maybe for most of the people, joyous become easier practice meditation. But actually joyous in the real life, it's much harder to practice in some way. At least that's what I think. Before I'm going to move in to talk about other, but so, I just want to say, like, people come in, it might be with a joyous mind, you could take in the joyous mind, but it's very hard sometimes, because if your mind were obsessed with a certain rule, you believe there's a rule, and then you forget this thing. Now, please do not misunderstand. It doesn't mean when you have a joy, when the people are joyful, you have a joy within, it means you forget the rule. No. Okay? It doesn't mean that. Now, I want to say this because actually a lot of people are so afraid of losing something. And they're afraid of losing something is the wrong way of understanding it. But they don't afraid of losing their temper, their hatred. But they're afraid of losing the rule, They believe to make them comfort, Or make them to believe that's how a person I can be. Right? No. In the West, in the East, the same nowadays. For example, if a person open the door without knock, is a big thing, right? Right. And it's a rule, right? But I'm sure that people think, that should be the only rule. I'm not against this thing, okay? I'm saying that imagine something. It depends on who opened the door and how you are. If that's a person you really like and love so much, or you are in a good mood, there's no problem, right? But if the people that you don't like at all, whatever mood you are, they don't lock your door, open your door, what is your reaction? Okay? Even the person is very happy to tell you, I got a good news for you, right? Before you say anything, you slap the person already, if you have the power. So, but I'm just saying this, I'm not here to discuss also the rule, because people like to discuss. I think this is really, it's not a matter. I believe the rule, but of course you have to lock the door, open the door. I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying that in this practice, it's about the mind and samadhi. So it's actually, you can sometimes solve the problem, firstly, by appreciating when the people are happy, you just take their happiness. And then you can tell them, oh, I thought you were going to, lock in the door, but I didn't hear. Did you lock the door? For example, right? So, and if you take that joint, I know I'm saying this means it's very hard, it's not easy. So that's let us to aware this is what the practice, okay? I want to say this. Maybe some people don't like this topic, but I myself really enjoy this kind of topic. Because if our practice is only, I meditate, and in my room I'm the saint. But when I leave my room, I'm the demon. The most horrible person like, I'm a great meditator. I don't think you do the thing right. You also not right. You also not right. They also not right. That's also not right. And you don't meditate. So like that. So that, I don't know how much you understand Buddhism, but I'm sure the Buddha, if that really is the case, the Buddha will ask, are you doing meditation? Okay, I'm sure he will ask this question. Are you sure? Why I want to say this, I read a lot of books, and then it looks like one of the questions always people often asking the master, whatever book I read, if there's a thing, and whenever I go, it's very interesting. I never ask this question, but you can see that a lot of students ask the master question is that, how come these people, when they do meditation, but they can be so bad? I always feel very pity for the master. No, the student is good asker, it's good way, but I always feel pity for the master because the master always have to tell, are you sure they are doing meditation? So, but then and then the student, some of the students, out of concern about the phenomena happen, they always say yes, because they say they are doing a meditation and they are doing good meditation. And then, but then usually I heard a lot, and then the master always say that, okay, and the master usually say, but I'm quite sure that at least not what I think that they were doing meditation, the way I understand. But this, I want to say this is actually, I'm not going to, I'm not implying that the other persons or what, but I want to say, even I ourselves, okay, when we practice meditation, we also be cautious. Sometimes we might make mistakes also, even though we do meditation. And then we have to know that this can be happen to us. Do not too sure about yourself, okay? And I think maybe best to say this. And then of course, I do not, and also it's very wise for you when the people trying to impose the ideas to you. For example, they impose the idea thinking a meditator should be this, should be this, should be that, okay? You know what I'm saying? You are a meditator, you should be good. When I score you, may you be well and happy. And they impose this idea to you. And that's why it makes you fear or meditate also, right? If you don't understand the karma. So that's why I mentioned ignorance. If you don't understand the karma, it means the cause and effect, you would think, you look, the result is this. When I do this loving kindness, and that person still, you're supposed to be that way, right? So, and that's why, and then you have to tell them, I'm practice meditation. But you know, when you, you know what I mean? I don't mean that you're going to tell them directly, out of compassion, you know, if you say that, going to fight. So later you can tell them, you know, so looks like you have misunderstanding about meditation. And meditation doesn't mean when I meditate, I become a vegetable. And then you become a big cow. And you were the dog eating meat, but now you become, you're looking for vegetable, and I become vegetable, you become a big cow to eat me. No, let them don't know that, no. So, and I have a strength. My strength is because I try to be best, okay? Tell them that. That's very useful. But of course, you say, what do you mean? You mean my strength is not going to be good? I don't know. You better know yourself, you know, like that. So, and then, you know, sometimes things can be beyond my strength, okay? Understand? Let me tell you why I want to say this, because all these things happen to me too, not because with the people, it's with myself. There was a time I tried to really meditate, and then and I tried to really like doing compassion meditation. And in the meditation state, I'm doing really like, I think it's quite okay. And then when I come out and I meet the people, and I knew that my mind still like a kind of like struggle, because the object is fresh. And then my mind is a struggle. Actually, it's interesting that the decision I had to make is should I do this way or should I do that way? Generally, I mean, I have a wrong idea at that time immediately. The wrong idea is if I still show my loving kindness, I will be in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm saying this in a very subtle way. So that's why I believe that, and that's of course not just one time, 2 times. And that's why I think that a lot of people, when they face that kind of decision making, and then they might be sometimes make what I call as a wrong choice. They would choose like, I don't need meditation, in many times because I feel like I'm more like a vegetable. Okay, get it now? So, but it's not. But that's why I say that I give it to you. You have to be on your own. That's what the Buddha always say. You have to be your own master. That means you all have to be your own judge to know whether that is. So, if you understand karma or if you understand the cause and effect, then for sure that you won't make that kind of choice. You're always trying to cultivate, be nicer and happier and nicer and happier. Whenever the people, how they react to you, they might regard you really like a vegetable, but your strength actually is much powerful than them. Okay? Yeah, you might not see immediately, but when there's a time you can tell them, they might not listen to you too, but you become actually much powerful. Okay? So, and this is one thing I need to say. And the last one, today a lot of people ask me a question about practicing the equanimity, right? Why we had to practice equanimity? This is a big question actually. Let me see. I don't want to say in the theory at the moment from Buddhist text. Normally, we might see a person, let me just begin this as maybe easier. According to the path of purification, I think that's similarly something that help other people. For practice reasons, we practice loving kindness. It's just like, when a baby, when someone have the baby and caring for the baby. And then when we practice compassion, it's as if just somebody, when the baby got ill, and then you're attending the baby, okay? And we practice this compassion, compassion. When we practice this sympathetic joy, as if when you see the person grow up, the baby grow up, and then they have a successful life. They are very happy for them, had a successful life. And but then when you practice equanimity, as if the baby had grown up, become adult, and they got married, they have their life, that is equanimity. So if we take from that kind of what they call the simile, I think we can understand one way that when we practice equanimity, it helps us actually not to interfere other people. I mean, even the person that you think you love the most, right? Like that means your own baby. But of course, interfering is maybe a little bit strong word, but maybe another word is like more like a controlling, controlling the other, people. That's also back to one, when you do equanimity, at least to me, I think, I'm not sure. Well, when you practice equanimity, it helps you actually to understand everyone, they have their own reasons and to do anything, something. I don't mean that you agree with the reasons. So you just really with the equanimity, you are not like, let's say, let me say, Yeah, very simple case, like all of you, most of you. You fall in love, wonderful time, right? The first year, 2 years, wonderful, always thinking about, wow, this love me, and then you dream about a person's, waiting for the telephone call, even know how suffer you are, worry about, I'm talking about like a man and a girl, okay? Worry about whether the girl talking to other men he saw, did she still love me, you know? But you take all this, you know, and that, you know. And then after that, you know, somehow, okay, they decided to get married, and then they have a children, right? If you ask me, Dhammadippa, why don't you do that? No, I mean, you know what I mean? Like say that I just become a monk. I think somebody may be like me too, okay? I mean, I'm talking earlier time, now it's too old already. So,
Never too old.
and they, yeah, maybe true, but anyway, forget about this. So, I want to say this, if I don't practice equanimity, you know, I would think, what if these people are so stupid? Why do they want to fall in love? So many parents there. What, they have children? Wow, think about, and then they have earned lots of money. And education fee is so high.
It's true though, isn't it?
Didn't you think I said anything is true? Don't you believe that? Hello? Okay, I don't know whether you believe it's true, but I definitely believe it's true, okay? But this is my equanimity. You have your life, right?
It's kind of respect, isn't it?
It is. I don't control it. I won't say, if somebody told me, including my brother, my sister, you know, actually it's true, they married also. But if you ask me, Dhammadippa, do you think they married good? But when they say me, oh, I fall in love, good, you know, joy meditation. And when they told me, you know, I have this problem, the husband like that, my wife is like this, compassion, you know. Actually, I have to say something when I have an evil mind. I mean, when my mind is not stable, I say, you ask for it. But to be honest, but I knew that when I say that time, I don't have compassion, I don't have loving kindness, and I don't have equanimity, and I don't have what they call this joy. I don't. I have only, because I was not happy already, and they tell me, complain, the husband is like that. I think, yeah, you ask for it. Actually, I had kind of like agitation here, not you know, resentment with me. Not because I'm jealous about that, it's I have my own problem. So, but I'm sure if I have my mind was have a very good samadhi. Sometimes equanimity, everyone is different. So, I'm sure that answer a lot of questions, right? Answer a lot of questions. I mean, everyone is different. So, and I'm sure that, of course, with that kind of practice of equanimity, and then the more you understand the cause and effect and how the people actually, what we call the conditioning, the conditioning. I'm sure you know, like, with a friend, if they don't meet these people, maybe that would not happen. If that not like they would not be married. If this is and that, it's so lots of things comes together, right? So by understand this is all because when you practice equanimity and understand they are this, they are that, and then this kind of person definitely will like this kind of girl, and that kind of person will like this kind of girl, what I'm saying. And then because in the past it was like this, and that's why, and especially some people, they lost a love and they don't want to feel their failure. They always look for the similar kind of the girl. I'm sorry to say this. Anyway, not all the time. But what I'm saying, this is a whole, you understand it very well and going on. And because the more actually with the equanimity, you understand more, you have actually more compassionate for them also. You have more compassion, no, don't you? I try to find some other cases. I'm sure there are lots of examples. And then you'll find you have more compassion because you understand well they are still, all with they are still cannot escape from the karma. That's what we call the cause and effect. They are always intertwining with that, right? Still going on that. And this is one reason, actually, I would say you practice equanimity, okay? For your life practical reason. It is not easy. Actually, equanimity is not easy. And the other reason is because when you practice equanimity, you do see that you become maybe more like you can become sharper in analytical. It's just not as simply I have develop a compassion and which consolidate my compassion and understand persons how they feel. But that's why I say you understand much more about the reason and how the result comes and how that result makes that person become a reason and then go on another result. That's what we call the cause and effect and cause and effect and cause and effect. So, and that kind of ability makes you become much more analytical. Okay? And the other reason for the equanimity meditation is that's just for practical reasons. Because only if you want to clean your mind, become much more stable. Sometimes, I don't mean that's all the time. Sometimes, when I say sometimes, maybe most of the time, sorry. So most of the time, you can be able to easily to clean a lot of residue, something that carry with you. Maybe a little thing carry with you, okay? Say, there's maybe one thing is like, when I see a person, I have a compassion with the person, okay? But then I'm thinking, how I'm doing this good thing for the people with my mind. How about this person? Does that person really know what I'm doing? For example, that maybe comes in our mind, right? But let's say, and then after when you realize that, and then you do like an equanimity meditation on the persons, somehow you clean out this kind of thing. And then you just, somehow you say that you are also, when I say meditate, it can be like you talk to the people, you are doing the thing. And then your mind still meditate to the person with the compassionate. You somehow don't think, it doesn't matter actually what he thinks. Okay? So because you have a way to help you to clean your mind for something that maybe become a habitual thing, carry with you. Some people, they care more whether the way I work, it will be effect to them, right? We have this question when we do meditation too. One of the common questions is like, when I do meditation, like compassion meditation, and I wish that people out of the suffering, the question is always asked, I doubt and I'm not sure, and is it true that the people will definitely out of suffering, right? But imagine if you now, because at this stage you have practiced the equanimity, if you still use meditate this person and with the equanimity, and you would not ask this question, right? You would not ask this question. And then say that you're back to your compassion meditation again, you will not ask this question also. I mean, you don't ask this question in equanimity meditation, but after doing the equanimity meditation, you're back to you don't ask this question. Now, this is a very subtle thing that interesting going on. It means something should be missing something must be missing that you would not still hoping or still clinging on thinking, am I helping that person? Because equanimity removes your clinging. Okay. Right, because it removes the clinging, so then it's not a question. When the clinging be somehow at least removed, and then you also develop the compassion again towards a person, you will just like very clean, almost like clean cut, just to have compassion to the person. Almost like you have kind of like develop a compassion without asking the result to return. Okay.
So you have to compassion, equanimity, and then back to compassion.
No, I don't mean that you have to, but I just want to explain when you have a compassion, equanimity, it helps you to, sometimes if your awareness is not strong, so the equanimity meditation will help to clean, you cut off this kind of the clinging.
Because equanimity is the last end of satisfaction, right?
It is, yeah, but
That's probably why.
we forget that because it's
Because you said it's purifying, cleansing, getting the cutting off.
yeah, it's also, but there's a slight difference between the two, but you know. Okay, where I am. Okay, so that's the reason, one of the reasons why we practice equanimity. Okay, another reason which might not necessarily apply to everyone is that if you really have to, if you practice the jhana, and then and if you want to enter the fourth jhana, because the meditation, I mean the loving kindness meditation, compassionate meditation, and then the sympathetic or joy meditation, will not help you to enter the fourth jhana. So it's only when you practice the equanimity will help you to, to enter the fourth jhana. Okay. All right. I think that's I draw up the reason why also we practice. In other words, mean you practice, you see what is samadhi, and how the samadhi can be important for you. And since you practice the samadhi is the based on or to develop the mind called the loving kindness, the compassion, the joy, and equanimity, not only the samadhi will carry with you, but this kind of mind quality will help you to continuously build up a good karma going on. Okay? And then also this four kind of mind can serve not only just a good life for you, but you also is a direct, actually you can always use that to how to treat people, or how to treat people, or how do you understand the relationship also. Okay. And I think, did I say that in here? But since it is in my mind, is that sometimes even I think in a relationship, even for the marriage people, they from a girlfriend, boyfriends, and then to the couple, and then I think what actually the best thing to maintain the relationship is the same thing I would say is you have to still apply these four like abiding, kind of these four kind of mind to what you call the dearest friend, but certainly even to the dearest people like your parents too, and the parents if they can do, to even to the children. So I think that actually is the important thing. Last thing I want to say before I forget, I always want to say the last few days already, but I always forget. I think it this way because I remember before I become a monk, my grandfather actually, anyway, I want to say my grandmother passed away quite earlier time, but before I become a monk, I knew that one thing, I wanted to be a monk, but the only difficult person is to let my grandfather know I have the idea to be a monk. My parents know I still can fight with my parents, you know what I mean? I'm saying that in those days, I don't mean that when I fight, mean if I want to. But I think it's very hard to convince my grandfather. Now, the thing is I want to say here is that time, if I really knew this method, if I really knew this method, I could actually would keep my grandfather a company for a long time, you know. But in my experience, I didn't, because I was like, actually I always pass by my grandfather's house. I have to go to my friends we are a group of people who are interested in Buddhism. Whenever I pass by, I always want to lock the door and come to see my grandfather. But I just don't know how to do it, you know. And then, and of course my grandfather is not Buddhist or no religion, but maybe traditional folk belief, kind of like. And my grandmother passed away, he doesn't do anything except just to give incense to the, you know, the Chinese tradition. Now I'm saying this mean, if of course this is only if, but now you have a chance, I ask you to do it. For me, it's no chance, it's only if. So if the chance to do it is, you see, when the people, it's good thing is always use this 4 kind of mind to treat someone that you really love the most, okay? And not only that you use this to treat someone that you love the most, let's say to me like my grandfather, okay? So it's also actually, if you have a chance to show them, I don't know how, it's not my question now, but to show them, that is a way for them to live very much happier. And then of course I will just say, and then for them to even they know when they, like my grandfather case for example, if they really want to, you know, they're old, very old, so where they will end up to and where they can go, you know. So, like my grandfather, of course I cannot tell him, believe in Buddha, you know, it's very hard. It's not like that. But our action always can help them out. That's what I want to say. So, and then to show them, you know, I can meditate on you, wish you to be well, you know, when sometimes when they are not very happy, you say, you know, I also still meditate and hope you'll be what, I don't mean meditate, mean your telephone, okay? You have to be there. So, no. I know you are not well. I'm calling you because I will meditate for you. If you can be there, be there. And then also, you know, and that's because to spend the time and do meditation in a, you know, I don't know how to say. So you spend the time, share your experience. I would say that is the greatest medicine in our life, okay? Right? So in other words, Buddhism say you help yourself and help the other, especially who help those people who really are really, you know, sacrifice their life, sacrifice their time, and really love you the most, okay? Right? All right, so I'll stop here at the moment, and then you have only maybe just less, yeah. Thank you so much, yeah.